You shouldn't kiss your kid in the lips when they sort of understand what like a kiss is. Do you know what I mean? I think that's
so you're
the
saying
problem.
non-consensual kissing is the only appropriate time for a child.
All right.
Kiss them non-consensually when they're old enough to consent. That's when you stop kissing them on the lips. And you heard it here first. That is the rule of thumb all the time.
I mean,
Mick Mount signing off.
yeah, like they should. Your face.
No, it is snowing. So it's snowing down there as well. That's cool.
Yeah. How much?
How does the snow on the beach work?
Well,
does it sort of settle on the sand, on the stones? Sorry.
Yeah,
stones.
I had this question in my focus group yesterday. A lot of people asking the same question. It does normally set, but there hasn't been enough for it to be. Like I'd say we've got half an inch set on the ground, right? Depending on how what's the word for if like the ground is I know I'm gonna get this fucking wrong. If the ground lets water through, or if is it like
oh, you're talking about like when they sort of go in between the cracks of the ground and stuff like that.
Some ground lets it sink through and some doesn't. I don't know what the term is.
Prestidigitation, I believe.
So, I mean, dude, it could be. I really don't know, man.
Pretty sure that's a D&D spell.
Anyway, yeah, it's about half an inch. Normally, it is covered on the beach,
right?
But obviously, the sea's not having any of it. The sea's just like fuck off. It melts in the sea.
Yeah, does the snow settle on the sea is the real question, and I don't think that's anything that any of us can really answer right now. So.
Well, I think
that's one of life's biggest questions, actually.
I can tell you right now, it doesn't.
Oh, nice mug.
It doesn't.
Is that new? That's cool.
Oh yeah, this is a mug that was. You remember that gift box that was sent to me that from Nikki?
The infamous £100 delivery gift box.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there are plenty of things in there, but I'm loving this mug.
That's cool.
This is one of the gifts.
That's
it's
nice.
like it's a handmade. It's like a wonky mug. It's not. It's like not perfect. Everyone.
That's a bit silly that someone paid for a non-perfect wonky mug, but that's cool.
I love it. It's got like this part here is really it's like sand. It's like quite gritty, but then up here is nice and smooth.
It's cool.
What a design as well. I think it's in. Oh, I don't know. Oh, does it say the shop? No, it doesn't. Anyway, great mug.
I've got a koala mug. This mug is a koala on
He's
it.
Cute.
He's a little cutie. Oh, out of focus there. I can't remember where this is from, actually. I think my mum might have got it for me from Australia, possibly. But I could be misremembering that because it has a koala on it.
Hey, one from America, one from Australia.
Well-travelled mugs. But at the moment, we are not well-travelled because of COVID.
COVID, baby.
COVID. Nin and tin.
Dude, did you watch... Oh, that's just reminded me. Did you watch any of the Super Bowl last night?
No, I was there, actually.
Oh. How are you here now?
I just travelled back last night.
Even with like the travel restrictions.
Yeah. So, the government said like I have to quarantine, but it's not really like that important. So,
kind of get the feeling like you're just not telling the truth. Like you just didn't go there, and you're just lying to try and make yourself sound cool.
Right? The Buccaneers.
Yeah, the Bucks.
Bucks. The Bucks
against who?
Against the Chiefs.
Yeah, where are they from?
The New York Chiefs.
God. So generic. Well, think of an American city.
No. Obviously, everyone knows the New York is the Giants. Everyone knows that. So the Chiefs are from the other state next to New York.
I hope you're out. They're from Kansas City.
That's the one. Yeah. So I was on the tip of my tongue.
Not really too close to New York, though. I don't think. I could be wrong there, but anyway.
Well, that's just strong coffee,
bro. the stadium was like pretty packed.
Yeah,
Like,
I
and
saw it
was
on the thing.
thinking,
They were like, "Oh, limited attendance," and then
yeah,
it was quite a few people there.
there were quite a few. I mean, we did do it a couple months ago where depending on where the football clubs were located, you could have like 2,000 or 3,000.
Which doesn't make any sense because people travel from all over London to go to those games.
Right. Like Arsenal, they were in tier 2 at the time, so they could have, I think, a 3,000 people capacity or 2,000, and then obviously over
here
Christmas,
we are with over 100,000 deaths.
Yeah,
totally worked.
But I was like, Jesus Christ, it's absolutely packed. However, they fooled me. They had cardboard cutouts of fans paid
at the Super Bowl.
At the Super Bowl. So they had a mixture of real people, and then behind those real people, filling up the space, were cardboard cutouts of fans who paid like $100 for their face to be put on a seat. And I'm just like,
God.
They found a way. They found a way.
Genius.
They figured it out. Like
they couldn't.
That
Americans, they couldn't just not have had it. They couldn't have just televised it and streamed it. They couldn't do that. They had to figure out something.
It's all about that. Because you'd pay that for a seat.
Yeah.
Right? $100, maybe more, probably more, depending on where you sit.
They did the same with tennis though, like a few months ago, didn't they? Where like you had
your face on the screen.
Yeah, you had your face on the screen. And you had a camera as well where you could sort of watch the match. And I think also when they did it in the O2 on the they had like just lights basically to like represent the audience as well. But it sounds like they figured it out. Well played to them.
And to be fair, I mean, I bet they made so much money. I think actually they said like 10% of it or a percentage was going to a charity, but cool. You know,
probably
whatever.
A charity that the head of the Super Bowl owns. I'm sure.
the NFL charity.
What would you have paid $100 to get your face on there if it was, say, Arsenal playing, for example?
No. What does that do? It doesn't. No one.
But Tom Brady might see my face.
Exactly. Like, what is it for? Is it because you want your face to be on camera? Like, is it because you want the players to potentially see? Do you just want to
sentimental value?
Like show support? Like, what is it? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't make a difference if they make cartoon people. They put cartoon drawings on seats. It looks the same. Like if you're a player, they're not going to be able to tell. But anyway, so I have a bother about.
Okay.
I have my own bother.
Well, that's a good segue because this is What a Bother. I'm Tam.
And I'm Nick.
Cool. That was very fucking seamless.
Mm-hmm.
This is the show where we talk about what bothers us, but especially what bothers you guys at home. And we did ask for some write-ins on Instagram, and you guys were great at coming through. But we're going to listen to Nick's one first because we all know his ego couldn't let another fucking bother get in first. So here we go. No chance.
On the topic of the Super Bowl, right?
Okay.
So the Buccaneers win, okay, right? And I was rooting for them.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Long story short, Tom Brady moved to the Patriots. I wanted to see him do it with another club, and he did. Okay, but when they announce the Super Bowl champions, they say,
hold on, so Tom Brady was on the Patriots before. Sorry, I know I interrupted you before. But so he was on the Patriots before and he's on the Buccaneers now?
Yeah.
So it just seems that whatever team he's on seems to win, basically.
You're not on a team. You don't say what team was he on. You say he plays for a team.
Why is that?
Okay. Well, it's just you sound like you don't watch sports because the terminology you just used was so he was on that team and he played and he was
Why
on
is that wrong?
Team. It's like it just doesn't work as well as he played for right. What do you think?
Oh, he's on that team. He's on that team.
He was on that team and on that team. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, sure, man. We'll let it slide.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we won't let it slide. It's factual, so we'll just
okay.
roll along.
He played for the Patriots, and then moved to Tampa Bay. Okay. The Buccaneers. So I was like, I want him to. I like Brady, like 43, and he's still smashing it.
Yeah, whatever team he's on, just seems to win.
Yeah, right. And well, Super Bowl champions. World champions, baby.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, world champions? You played in one country, you're national champions.
My
That
dad makes
is
this joke not joke, he makes that observation all the time. He's like, what are you world champions for? You're the only ones playing.
You're the only ones playing. I get it. If there were other countries involved, I'm sure you'd beat them because you are the only country that... I think you're pretty much the only country that takes American football seriously. I mean, it was invented in your country. I mean, I'm sure other countries do play it, but like the NFL, that is like the only sort of American football league that I think is sort of televised, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yes, they'd beat any other team, I'm sure, around the world, but they didn't. So you can't say world champions. And Tom Brady's there accepting the Lombardi trophy or whatever it's called, right? The Super Bowl trophy. And he goes, world champions, baby. And I'm like, Tom, you can't. You made me, that made me like you less because you're like fooling yourself. You're not world champions. You're national champions.
Yeah.
That is it. You're Super Bowl champions. Incredible. But you're not... Well, you just can't say that.
It's kind of genius though to like make up a sport, and then because then you can call yourself world champions because it's like, oh, I made up foosball, which is where the rules don't matter, but I'm the world champion now because I invented it. I'm the only one that plays it.
Yeah.
There's no one better than me in the world.
No.
But it's so annoying that they do that. But that's probably the most American thing is to do that, to make up a sport and then call yourself world champion.
But I just don't know why they think that's okay. Like for Tom Brady, someone as successful as he is, like millions in the bank, he must be a clever guy. Clearly is a clever guy, but yet he gets that wrong, and they're like fooled. They're like they just don't get it. I don't know if that's just
national champions. Doesn't have
Super Bowl champions. Super Bowl champions. Champions. That's all you need to say. Champions, baby, not world champions, because you're not. You're not. The World Cup, that's the only time when there's world sporting events.
Against any other country, so
no, that's it. So national champions or champions. I'm afraid that's all you can do. And speaking of Tom Brady, nice little segue.
Tom Holland's on the show. Everyone.
Tom Holland. How's it going, Tom?
Let's connect with him now. All right,
I play Spider-Man.
Yep. Oh, I'm going to do an accent for you.
I look like I have a frog because I feel like I've always got something in my... Have you noticed that about Tom Holland? He looks like he's always got something in his cheeks. He kind of goes like...
Yeah.
Always.
People that always like, kind of like flex their jaws all the time. You can see their like side of their jaws moving all the time he does that.
It's not even that. He looks like he's got food in his cheeks all the time.
he's a little... maybe that's what he's doing. Maybe he's just like all the craft services from filming the Avengers. He just like has to store it.
Stuffs it in his cheeks like a hamster.
I just got to keep in shape. They don't let me eat. They really control it. And he's got to like hide it. It's like a really horrible story of how they've just taken Tom Holland when he was 17 and put him on a really horrible diet regime so he could be in shape for Spider-Man.
And he stores nuts and fruit.
He stores nuts and fruits in his cheeks. He's a hamster. Instead of Spider-Man, he's Hamster Man.
He's Hamster Man. He's Hamster Man. And
Hamster Boy.
He just didn't have a ring to it, so they just stuck him with Spider-Man. Hamster Boy. It's terrible. He sort of morphs into like a furry fucking
Iron Man there shooting laser. Yeah, I can. I've got. I'm the richest man in the world. I shoot laser beams from my hands and. Thor's there, and he's like, I'm literally a god, and then you have Hamster Boy. Oh, I'm really good at stuffing raisins and nuts in my cheeks,
dude. But just imagine that though. He's like, he grows to like a fucking huge hamster, and because they're quick, right? So if you proportionately, if they grew to like human size, they'd scuttle across the road, right? And imagine he could stuff. You know what it would be? He'd stuff the villains in his cheeks.
Oh my god,
that would be you know what?
And he'd have to fight fucking Godzilla at the end of the film. It's Tom Holland's. He doesn't transform fully, so it's Tom Holland's head on a giant hamster's body.
Terrifying. What would be worse, Tom Holland's head on a hamster or a hamster's head on Tom Holland?
That's true. Oh, which would do a backflip?
Yeah. Anyway, right. So back to the point. Have a bother on the Super Bowl as well. Another bother, right? on Tom Brady, right?
Okay.
It's from. I said, do you want to use do you mind if we use your name? And he said, please do.
Okay.
So this is from Dave Oliver.
Dave Oliver.
Dave
okay.
Oliver said. So we were talking
Big
about
fan.
Brady. Big fan of Dave.
No, he's big.
He goes.
I don't really care much for him, but
You hear that, Dave?
no.
So
what? He's
Dave,
listening.
stop. Yeah,
He's
he
in the
will
room.
be. He's here. He's here.
No, just
breaking
cut it
the
out.
rules of COVID. Right. He goes. So I said, we were talking about the Super Bowl, and then he said, "Here's a bother. Brady kisses his kids on the lips. Not okay. Parents." And he said, "Parents that kiss their kids on the lips. That's my bother. It raises psychopaths and murderers." And it made me think.
Really, or kids just really in touch with their emotions and very affectionate
Too sensitive.
human beings.
Well, I mean, look, I don't know what those kids go on to be like. I don't know if it has any effect, but I will say that I do think there comes an age where you should stop kissing your kids on the lips.
I don't think there's any age. I don't think I ever had that. It's weird.
No.
I mean, I guess we can't really comment because we don't have kids. And maybe like when you have a kid, you just have that, unlike contested love for them. But like even as a kid, when I saw that, I thought it was weird. I remember there was a kid in my school, or there was a couple of kids, but there was one kid in particular who was like, he was already like a little bit weird, and his parents were also like a little bit weird. I remember we'd go to parties over to his house and stuff, and they were always just a bit kind of like anal and just a little bit weird. And they would do that. They would like kiss him on the lips, even up until the age of probably like way beyond you should be doing it, like probably 8 or 9, right? Or like beyond that. And even then, I was like, "This is weird, man. Like, I don't want to see that."
No,
even as a kid, I was like, "I don't want to see that."
Some people, I'm not joking here. Some people do it when they're like 16. I swear to God, man. I've seen
weird.
like on TV, and like it typically isn't. I feel like it's more of an American thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've always found it very strange. I think as like a baby, 2 years old, toddler, I think
Even weird.
sure,
I couldn't
why
imagine
not?
kissing a toddler on the lips, regardless
No,
of
I
whether
think
they're
when
a child
they're-
or not. But again, I don't have children, so
No, but I think that's when, if I was to see it, that would be fine. But I think when they're talking and walking around, that's when it's not okay. I feel like you shouldn't kiss your kid in the lips when they sort of understand what like a kiss is. Do you know what I mean? I think that's
so you're
the
saying
problem.
non-consensual kissing is the only appropriate time for a child.
All right.
Kiss them non-consensually when they're old enough to consent. That's when you stop kissing them on the lips. And you heard it here first. That is the rule of thumb all the time.
I mean,
Nick Mount signing off.
yeah, like, they should. Your face. Yeah, I think it's such a good point. It's one of those things where I don't think it happens that often because, like, what's normal? A kiss on the cheek. That's normal, right? Kiss on the cheek. But I definitely think as a baby, that's fine. Like 2 years old, I think that is fine. But when you're walking around, I've seen it. I think David Beckham. I think I saw a post of David Beckham kissing his like one of his youngest, but they're way too old still. They were like 6 on the lips, and I was like, "Oh, that's a bit too old. I think that's too old, David."
Yeah, that is too old. Again, every family relationship is different. I just think that it just puts people on edge. It just makes people uncomfortable.
I do think it's probably a culture thing. Like in like other European countries where they're just, whenever you greet someone, it's always kissy, even guys to guys. It's I'm sure that's just normal.
I'm sure it is. But then it's funny that Americans find that weird. Americans find that European kissing when greeting people weird, but then they'll kiss their kids on the lips as well.
Hey, get it right, man. Like, what's going on? Like, yeah.
Choose how affectionate you want to be. Don't be so here and there.
Kissing on the lips, that's a really intimate thing, and it's kind of gross because like you're exchanging like saliva
DNA
when you do that, and that for me is kind of gross. Like that's too much. You shouldn't be swapping saliva to your kids. Nah, don't do that.
And especially not with your siblings. Definitely shouldn't be doing that. If you're doing that,
you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't. I mean, you used to do that, right?
Well, yeah, only up until like 14 or something, but like,
Yeah.
that's what
Well,
most
then you
people
learned.
do. Yeah. What?
Nothing.
No, okay.
Nothing. Anyway, yeah. So that was a good one. Good bother.
We have another bother here. From I don't think. I mean, it's not anything in particularly sort of embarrassing or needing to be anonymous.
Right.
So this is just signed off. Oh, to be fair, it says yours sincerely at the end with no name.
Well, then I wouldn't in that case. If in doubt, don't.
Okay. So this is titled "eBay Sucks."
It does suck.
So we'll call this person who's an entrepreneur that you know.
Alan, Lord Sugar.
Okay, well, this is Lord Sugar. Lord Sugar says, eBay sucks. Here's my bother. This is something that I think you'll enjoy because I think you've talked about this before. eBay's website. Right, that's just the bother. Does anyone else think that eBay's website is just straight up fucking horse turd? Yesterday I was trying to navigate my way through both selling and buying items and it was just a mess. Way too confusing for such a big company. It's eBay. How can the biggest second-hand selling website in the world have the worst website? Anyway, thank you for allowing me to vent. Yours sincerely, Lord Sugar.
Yes, Lord Sugar. What a bother.
Absolute
what a bother.
bother.
Have you
been on it recently? It's
what?
eBay.
Yeah. I mean, within like a month or so. It's just I sold some things a couple months ago. Just the layout of the website is just 1999.
Hasn't changed since 1999.
No,
sure.
It's dude. Like they say, it's eBay. Everyone knows eBay, and yet you'd think, oh, their website should be so easy to use, and it's not. It's not. It's messy. There's so many different tabs to try and get into your account. Like, how do I get to sell it? Dude, it's way too confusing. And it's such a good bother. I'm glad. Fucking glad.
I just don't understand how they've gotten away with being still the biggest selling website and just not having to change any of their UI or customer interface or anything. How have they gotten away with that? It's bizarre to me. That's probably why so many other secondhand websites have like taken off. You know, the ones where you just like take a picture on your phone and boom, you're off and selling. I remember that was one of the things that I didn't sell back in day on eBay because I remember at first, I don't know if you remember, but really back in the day, to sell on eBay you needed to be 18 because you needed a PayPal account, and the only way you could get a PayPal account I think if you were 18. Although thinking back, I don't know how they would have verified that. Anyway, I think you need to be a certain age, and it was just so confusing about you need like PayPal and that, but then like how that was connected to eBay. I remember just trying to do it a few times, and it was always, again, I'm probably remembering like over 10 years ago where I wasn't as tech savvy as I am now, but like it was always just confusing, and I hated it.
Me too. Me too. Even when you would like trying to buy something, it mixes. Like now eBay has new, like brand new. You can buy new things. It doesn't always have to be secondhand. So it mixes those two things in together. So like you can get secondhand things and then new. And then it's like, no, if I want new, I'll go to Amazon. Yeah, that's not your place. Your place is secondhand shit.
I guess
right?
It's for people that like, steal stuff or just buy things at a lower cost and then want to still sell them brand new.
Oh, that's another thing. eBay people, let's call them Ebayonians, right?
Ebays.
Those eBays, baby, they are a different type of person.
Yeah.
I've had a couple users who like, this doesn't match what the description said, and it's like, no, it does. And they're just they're just dregs, bro. They're just dregs. They're just not normal. They're very strange people. You get very weird people on that platform. And I hate it. It makes me not want to use it. Dude,
I had that bother. So recently I received I'm going to mention it. I received something, right? And I didn't want it basically. And it was something that was sealed at one point. And basically an accident happened where like the plastic wrapping came off. So like on eBay, dude, and it's a brand new item, right? And I think it's a game basically, right? It's a game, but it's like a collector's edition of a game. and it's brand new, and we put it on eBay and saying, like, explicitly saying, hey, this is brand new, right? But it's not mint condition. The plastic wrapping has fallen off. And dude, you should, as you said, like, there's some fucking weird people out there, because the guy replied being like, hey, I need to know right now, is this sealed or not? Because you think it's a fucking, like, it was like, oh, it must be a joke or something, because if you think like you're going to be able to sell this like mint and it's not even wrapped, it's like, I was like, hey bro, I just want to sell the game. Like he had such a complex. He was obviously like a collector, right? And he had such a complex about like, oh, I've been collecting shit for fucking years and this is how it goes. I was like, hey man, I said it's not wrapped. If you're a collector and you need things wrapped, this is not the one for you. But I didn't say it was. Like, what is wrong with you?
What an arsehole,
it's literally like,
bro.
when you say hi to someone and they just like unload their life story onto you. It's like, I wasn't talking about that, man.
Dude. Hey man, read the description. It says not sealed.
Go outside. Hey, go outside. Take a walk.
Do something else.
Do something
else other than collecting. What are you doing?
Yeah, for real,
bro.
I hate that so much. But yeah, eBay needs to absolutely change their website.
100%. Going back to the website, it really does. Like dude. Honestly, it is it's still stuck, and that's not even a joke. Like we laugh when we say terrible. That. It's still stuck in 1999. You know how like those old websites, how they'd like have the blue hyperlinks everywhere around the page for like when that's what it's like.
It's the kind of website so that you made when you were doing IT class in school. Yeah. It was that. It was there. When you're learning that basic HTML.
Yeah.
Shit.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever had it where like, oh, dude, it's so ugly. But that's what it is.
It makes me
like,
not want to use it.
No, it doesn't. That's same.
I don't use it.
I if ever I want to buy anything. I mean, Amazon is what I go to, but if I do, I only use eBay for selling shit. But then it just gets you involved with all these weird people.
That's what I mean.
eBay
Even then,
it
turns me off selling stuff because of how bad it looks and how sort of annoying it is to use. Like, I feel like if it was just so much easier, I'd probably end up selling much more on it. But do you think they've just gotten away with it up until now just because of how it is just the biggest one for trading in that sense, and they don't need to change it because people still use it? Which is such a bad ethos to have, but
it is. But I think they do a lot better if it was just a lot more user friendly. Yeah. I really do. I think it's boring. That's the best way to describe eBay. It's boring.
It doesn't make making and spending money fun.
No, and they also it should. They take a cut as well, and so does PayPal. Both PayPal and eBay take a cut
as well. Yeah. Might I add that they could probably pay some website engineers to make a better website.
Yeah, exactly.
Where is all that money going?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100% change it. Did you ever have it like back in the day where you'd be on Facebook? Obviously, we don't use it anymore, but when you were using it, where you'd like sign in once and the page wouldn't fully load, and it'd be literally like the default with the hyperlinks everywhere.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah. Facebook, for some reason,
has
Facebook
all the metadata, all the information on there. But
that's
none of the actual UI basically hasn't loaded in yet.
Yeah, all of the links, photos, my profile, gallery, like all hot, just looks awful. That's what eBay is. That's what eBay is.
eBay is just a website that hasn't loaded fully yet. The user interface hasn't loaded in yet. It's just got all the basic information on it.
Yeah. Oh man, I love it. What a bother, man. Great bother. Thanks for sending that in.
Yeah, thanks Lord Sugar.
Sparked some serious discussion. What time is it? Have we got enough time? Is there any, have you got any bothers or what? What are you saying, bro?
Let me check.
What are you saying?
I've got some written down. I did have an interesting.
I do have another one, but I feel like if you do have one, it would be nice to hear from you, Tama. And also,
sorry, go on.
No, well, no, I was going to say.
Crack on, mate. You go on.
Well, no, what's yours?
No.
What's yours, baby?
Please talk.
Have you got one?
I know. I could just talk about my horrible COVID test experience.
Oh, dude. All right, let's do it. Because before you say that, I they're apparently now they're sort of like advising you, the government. I don't know. I mean, my parents told me this.
Yeah.
You can get like free tests every 2 weeks. They want you to just do that so that
Well,
those that are
twice a week, according
asymptomatic.
to the leaflet that I got in
Oh, really?
in my house, twice a week. But it's
Right.
twice a week on a lateral flow test, is it? Or is it the non-lateral flow test?
Yeah.
Either one, which is basically like 60% accuracy or less.
Right.
And
okay.
they even admit in the leaflet itself, saying this is also a bother. In the leaflet itself, it says if you actually have symptoms, don't get this test, because it's basically admitting that it's not that accurate. It's like, what are you doing? Don't have the test if it's not accurate. Like it needs to be at least 90% accurate if you're going to
100%.
bother taking it.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So what do you mean get that done twice a week? For what?
Such a good point. So they argue that for those that are asymptomatic, it's just a good way to like monitor them, right? But yeah, I went to like a hall, like a parish hall, basically in like a nearby village town, and it was run really well, to be fair. But it's like a voting booth, right? You know, for the elections when you go and cross who you want as the prime minister and you pop it in the box. It's literally the same thing. You all had your own booth, but there was an open back, so you could just walk into someone's booth. Like there was no closing off or anything. But it was such a like intimate thing that you're doing to yourself that I felt like I needed the privacy, right? And they're like, right, all you have to do, the instructions are in the booth, so just follow the instructions. Take that swab. So did the back of the throat, and whilst I was doing it, there were 4 girls, like as an audience, just like waiting. I'd say like 10 feet away,
like nurses or
no, just
waiting to do
like
their test,
like helping. I think they were. I think they were helping out on the day. Yeah, but then they were all having a laugh and like chatting and stuff. I was like, no, you probably shouldn't be doing
you
that
have
whilst
to
everyone
gag yourself.
Exactly. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna gag in front of these people. So not hot, and I was going, and I hear them all giggling, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh, they're laughing at me. Oh, this is a horrible experience,
so
bro. I know, and I'm like trying my hardest not to fucking gag. I do it for like 3 seconds. I can feel the gag coming, so I pull it out. Sounds so fucking.
Dude,
sounds like I'm fucking doing something else, but. Yeah, so I did that, and then I did the nose thing. as well, so swell up the nose. And this whole time, I'm like, I just don't know if they're like watching me. Obviously, they probably weren't because I'm just watching loads of people.
That doesn't matter.
But
your kind of peripheral anxiety is always just like everyone's watching everything you do.
Exactly, and I'm just like, hey, don't have an audience for me. Let me do it in private. Let me do it in private. So what was yours? What happened with you?
I also do, and so because I'm working on a certain job at the moment, we have to get them done every week, right? But fortunately, the company pays for it, but it means I need to go not too far, but like it's not local basically to go and get it done. But it's private, right? Because the company's paying for it, which is great. You know, private COVID test, that's awesome. But it's quite expensive, and I don't have to pay for it. But just the principle that this test particular is quite expensive. It's kind of like for private healthcare, rich people to take before normally going on a flight, like they need to travel for business or something. But for some reason, this is just the one we got booked into. And it's the same thing, but like, it's weird because you kind of expect like Jobsworth people to be normally they're like public service people, right? Normally they're the kind of Jobsworth people, you know, like people that work for the council or like, you know, ticket officers or whatever. But I got there and literally like, I was like, cool, how do my paperwork filled out? They wanted a passport number. I'm not traveling, right? I don't legally have to give them my passport number. I don't really want a private health firm to have that information, right? I'm not actually traveling. Don't have to give them that. Give them my.
So suspicious, but yeah.
They don't need to have it. So I gave them my driver's license. They wanted some ID, and then I gave them to the thing. And like, just the woman was so awful the first time we went there, and she was like, I gave her all the information stuff. So it's like, oh, you don't have your passport number. I was like, oh yeah, no. The dude at the front said I could just give my driver's license, and she was like, well, you haven't written it down. Like I had written it down. And she was like, oh no, on this sheet. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize I had to write on that sheet as well. She was like, so sassy about everything, and then like. She was like, right, are you ready? And I stood up, and she was like, no, sit down because of social distancing. And I was like,
oh,
okay, cool. You sort of asked if I was ready. I assumed I was ready to go. I sat back down, then in the middle of conversation, conversing with me, there was a family had walked in. So clearly a family as well, like literally mother, father, and like 10-year-old child. And she was like, excuse me, you need to social distance. And then they were like, oh, but we're from the same household, right? So it doesn't matter. You need to social distance here now. So then the family had to so awkwardly stand on opposite corners of the room, like one in each corner, not talking to each other because she wanted the social distance. And I was just like, what is going on? And then I walked through. And then she was like, cool, stand by the mirror. And I was like, okay, cool. So I saw her stand by the mirror. And then she was like, oh, no, stand by the mirror. And I was like, but I'm standing by the mirror. I didn't know what to do. So I just like shuffled over
Am
a little
I
bit
not?
more. Am I not, right? And then she explained, I guess because it's like more expensive, it's not, you don't have to do the nose thing. It's just the back of the mouth thing. And then she was like, oh, have you done one of these before? And I was like, oh, yeah. And I explained that I'd done that before. She's like, oh, you haven't done this before then because this is just the one without the nose. And I was like, well, the one that I did before was with the nose and the mouth. So I would say that I have done this before. And she was like, we haven't done this particular one. And I was like, how is it different? And then she explained to me how it was done. Exactly the same as the other ones that I've done before. And I was like, okay, cool. And it's so awkward because obviously the way they got it set up, we need like definitely a different system because it's also so inconvenient that to test for COVID in this particular way is also just possibly the most uncomfortable thing you have to do, which is stick something into your gag reflex, which is designed to not have things stuck into it, right? And so then she has to stand there also. So I'm standing in front of the mirror doing it, and then she's over my shoulder, same thing as you, having to watch me make sure that I'm doing it right. So I'm like going like, and then every time I'm gagging, I'm making eye contact with her because obviously that's just the thing that I can see, and my peripheral vision is her staring there. So I'm like basically making eye contact with this 50-plus-year-old woman whilst I'm making myself gag, and I'm just like standing like this is. I mean, to be fair, for them, it must be the worst job in the world, just watching people gag all day.
Yeah.
But I was just like, we've got to figure out a better system than this. And fortunately, the past few times I've gone there, she hasn't been there. But I've had a slightly younger nurse doing it, which is somewhat worse. I feel like when it's an older one, it's like it's fine. But now, as you said, when it's just kind of like younger girls watching you do it, it's just so weirdly.
It's embarrassing.
It's so embarrassing.
For some reason.
And then she's much nicer than this woman, but wants me to do it for longer. So like, I'll literally do it, and I mean, I don't know if I'm proud to say this, but like. Yeah, I'm not proud to say this, but I'm getting pretty good at it now as well. Like I can kind of, I'm like third week in a row now, and I can keep going, baby. Like I'm stroking the back of the mouth, the back of the throat, and no gagging for at least quite a while. So I'd say that I get it. Basically, there is definitely practice involved.
That's hot. That's hot, man.
And then I do it honestly. So the 15 seconds, right, in total is kind of like the accepted amount. I would do it for like at least 15 seconds to make sure that I was doing it right. And she was like, okay, now can you do it one more time on the left side? And I was like,
she's getting off to it.
Okay, cool. One more time on the left. She said every time she would say one more time. So she was like, just one more time on the left side. And I was like, okay, done it. And then she was like, okay, great. Now one more time on the right side. And I'm like, but I've done it for like, I've been doing it for like 30 seconds by now. But obviously I'm like, okay, fine. And then I carry on doing it, and then I take it out, and then she's like, right, now I just want you to rub it all the way around on the back of the throat. And I'm like,
wait, and also just hold on. Can you just let me get I just need to record it. Just hold on for 1 second.
Can you like sort of like choke yourself whilst you're doing it as well? I was like,
and now can you put it in my mouth now? What the fuck is going on?
Honestly, I was not expecting her to sort of offer that
make a
to
move
me afterwards. But it's just we need to figure out a better way of doing it basically, because it's an horrendous experience. But we've got to do it, baby.
I don't know why they have to stand so close to you, like the older women, like
breathing over your shoulder,
eyeballing you. Like, what? Just step back a bit. Give me some space. I need to do this. I need privacy. I don't want to. It is quite an embarrassing thing to fucking gag and retch in front of people. So let's understand.
A year ago that I would be like making eye contact with an old lady whilst making myself gag. I would have been gagging. Like, what are you talking about?
What would
this
the
is the reality that we're living in.
Yeah. I think they should have like some social intelligence to be like, they need their space. I'm going to take like a step back by 10 feet and just,
But I guess they have to watch you as well, make sure you're doing it right at the same time.
But like, you can see like, because for me, I was doing it and then I'd look back and I'd see what was on the swab. I'd be like, there's a lot there. Cool. Yeah. And that's that. I don't need to fucking. What do you need? Like a glob, a big glob on it, or can you not get the results from?
At all.
No. Also, I don't like how quickly it was turned around. Like, I got my results within 2 hours. I'm just like, who?
That's really quick. Yeah.
How on earth are they? Like, what are they doing? Is there some scientists in the back room going, okay?
Watching you do it. They like just quickly they took it out. They sniffed it a bit and then and then did the test.
Yeah, they sniff it and just sort of see how it feels in their fingers.
Yeah,
and that's their test.
Kind of feels like COVID, or oh no, I think he's right. That's kind of generally how it's done. I wouldn't be surprised.
That's why it's a 60%. 60%
reliable.
Just
people being like, oh well, he's a Gemini, so I think maybe, he might have it this time. Anyway, that's been What a Bother for this week, guys. Keep the write-ins coming in. We love answering and listening to your bothers. It's great fuel for the fire. Sponsored by Nick's mug.
Nick's mugs.
And sponsored by Nick being a mug. So here you go.
Oi.
I'm sorry. It's just a joke.
It's okay.
We'll talk about it after.
Yeah, no, 100%. You can't fucking mug me off like that next time. Anyway, guys,
nice.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.
In a bit.